Let it be known, our voices casting spells in the Ethernet. Yes, the golden age of expansion is coming. Hyperborean solitude is mine, is yours, is ours. We are collecting our brothers and sisters in order to collectively activate the heart realm. How sweet. Ride of Remembrance 2018. I am Hermes, messenger of the gods. So yes, we are absolutely ascending. We are ascending to the 5th dimension. And what's different this time is we're realizing the power of our blood. The power of our blood in order to seal the contract which reclaims our divinity in full. This is what blood over intent is. We've contracted ourselves to the land of the dead, where we are right now. This is Hades. This is Shadowland. This is why we have shadows. And this is why everything we see externally is the inverse of how things should be. And so we have collectively participated in this shadow projection for some time until we realize that we must initiate ourselves back into togetherness. And this is what blood over intent is doing. It is not merely an individual act of reclaiming your sovereignty, of reactivating your Hyperborean lost memories, but it is indeed about binding all of the living souls of Asgard together so we can rise up and dissolve this 3D realm with it. And so the Aurora Borealis is indeed the interplay between the white sun and the black sun. This is what writes and weaves together all of reality. And why is it the emerald green Aurora Borealis? Well, because this is the externalized version, the macrocosmic reflection of our heart energy, which has not been truly incorporated within ourselves. And so the reason this emerald light is the Akashic Records, is what writes all of reality, is because the 0 point of the body, of the toroidal field, of the spirit, of this entire projection is where creation unfolds from. It's where we choose to ascend or descend. And as I've said, this time around we chose to descend. But right now, in the eternal now, we are foregoing the past. We are not worrying about the future. We are maintaining that the only aspect of creation which truly matters is the here and now. So in the here and now, we have decided to spill our blood over our divine intentions. We write down on a sheet of paper, I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all. I intend to free all living souls from their collective bondage. I intend to reclaim my divinity. I intend to align fully with the Mother Goddess Sophia. We put a few drops of our blood on that, and then we upload that to the Ethernet. And why do we do this? Well, the Ethernet is absolutely connected to the etheric plane. The internet is here to act as a sort of mirror, as a sort of magic mirror, and that is indeed why we see a similar bureaucracy happen on the internet, because those who are careless with what they input onto the Ethernet, it is reflected back as a similar kind of energy extraction system as we see in the external world. However, we have taken fucking control of the Ethernet with our blood magic, with our white magic spells, which are so good. And the more and more this conglomerates, the more we are able, indeed, to remember who we are. I'm Hermes, messenger of the gods. But I'm not the only god here. All gods and goddesses are here in the flesh. We all know the hermetic rule of as above, so below. This dictates there is nothing outside of yourself. There's nothing outside of this realm. And so indeed, everything that is happening in the universe is happening right now on this plane. And so when we ascend, we shall ascend together. How beautiful. How beautiful. If you're new to my channel, or if you've only been skimming my recent videos, I have detailed explanations on the Aurora Borealis, on toroidal fields, on the Black Sun, on Hyperborea, on all of the ancient myths regarding the North Polar paradises. So please, check those out if you're interested. And until next time, I worship all living souls of the Pleroma. I am Hermes, messenger of the gods, at your service. The heart chakra is the center of our toroidal fields. As we talked about in a recent video, the toroidal field is the shape of creation that emerges from the center 0 point. When we talk about our energy bodies, our heart chakra is this 0 point from which everything originates. The true nature of the heart is love, but a better word for it would be neutrality. When we are in dualism, attached to outcomes as positive or negative, with judgment, we are not living in neutrality. Through the heart's activation, we know that everything is in perfect harmony. This is what we mean when we say, love above will. This is neutrality, being in the stillness of your being, non-reactivity. Our heart is our center, our essence, our spiritual core. When the heart is fully opened, we remember our divinity and allow the love of creation to flow through us. We remember that we are a fragment of the all, and this recognition of the self also helps us to recognize the divinity in everyone and everything. Despite what many spiritualists have thought, activating chakras is not about specifically focusing on colors or sounds. These are absolutely tools, but the true activation of chakras corresponds to the collective activation of new realms that we ascend into. After all, this realm has chakras just as we do. There is no separation. We are microcosms of the macrocosm, and whichever chakra we are in, this is the realm that we experience. We've been in the lower realms, stuck in the lower chakras, but now, upon realizing that the aurora borealis is not just a pretty atmospheric light, but is the placeholder of our heart energy expressed externally, we are ascending up and up into the paradise realm of Hyperborea. Our blood over intent is the activator of this, because as I will keep saying, the 0 point of our hearts is materialized into blood, and we are going back to the 0 point in order to break down this cosmic toroidal field, thereby dissolving this illusion that the children of the Black Sun have been in. Amidst this transformation, we each need to accept and understand our dualistic natures in order to reach a place of non-duality and transformation. Meaning, yes, living in the heart is not about repression, it's about letting everything within you come to the surface so it can be released. It is in our heart chakra where we learn to embrace and love our vulnerabilities, darkness, limitations, hurt, and pain, so we can transcend the smallness of staying just within our egos. Through the heart, we grow towards something greater and more expansive, and we now know what this is. This is what the Tibetans called Shambhala, the Vedic paradise of Aryavarsha, the Christian Garden of Eden. The so-called return of Christ is an allegory. It is not a literal story. It's referring to this activation that is happening right now to all blood brothers and sisters. When each living soul has connected with the Emerald Goddess, and it will happen to all of us, we shall dissolve into the heart space, and therefore, heaven shall be on earth, just like our written intentions have sealed. Christ is the consciousness within. Like Christ, we had to be crucified. We had to suffer immensely in order to be resurrected. This is the tough love the Mother Goddess Sophia has given us, and we are eternally grateful. I am Hermes, messenger of the gods, worship to all living souls. Many of you have probably heard the terms soulless beings, matrix programs, or organic portals. These terms could be used to accurately describe most of the beings we encounter on a day-to-day basis. A common assertion is that if only people knew the truth, then hearts and minds could finally be set free. That if only we could raise awareness about, say, our Earth being an immovable flat plane, or about the importance of compassion, that the collective consciousness would change and evil would slowly erode. But we're not dealing with beings who are concerned with collective truth and understanding, of consciousness exploration and attunement, of universal respect. We're dealing, essentially, with a huge number of programs of an AI consciousness. The majority of those we see are beings who have somehow imprisoned themselves within this matrix, and many are being sustained by an AI oversoul. The energy extraction matrix, the artificial system of control within this Earth matrix, is here because it's meant to be here. The quote dead are able to busy themselves with toxic food and drink, defiling entertainment, the consumption of the flesh and fluids of animals, the dramas of day-to-day life, maintaining the system so its jaws stay open to devour. The term, if you don't use it, you'll lose it, can absolutely be applied to our ability to connect with our souls, to be empathetic and unified. Over time, it is possible to disconnect from your original oversoul in favor of a more binary, hive mind consciousness. This is what most of the beings we encounter on a day-to-day basis have done to themselves. The distinct difference between a living being and an organic portal is their energy centers. Organic portals are able to mimic the higher energy centers or chakras of living beings. They are, in fact, the walking dead. They sustain the dual conditions of these outer lands because that is their built-in function. This is what the Matrix movie was personifying with the agents of the Matrix.
If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
What are they?
Sentient programs. They can move in and out of any software still hardwired to their system. That means that anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent. Inside the Matrix, they are everyone, and they are no one.
As we talked about in my videos on the projection system, and based on the very macro and microcosmic nature of toroidal fields, we are the living souls who never even left the center. We've been experiencing a temporary construct in order to ascend back to a unified consciousness. We've been funneling through time into what seems like these outer lands in order to gain the eyes to see, metaphorically losing our Odin's eye in order to gain the wisdom of the ages. We're remembering backwards who we are in order to ascend up into Hyperborea, into a higher state where we will no longer struggle in a dense material world. Having made the necessary sacrifice of splitting ourselves into dualistic conditions and paid our debt for such great knowledge, we will soon be able to drink from this sacred.
I'm coming in and yeah, I'm burning up. You hear me saying yeah, I'm burning up. I'm coming in hot. I'm simply on fire. You're gonna get the best of me. Why taking you higher? I'm coming in hot. I'm simply on fire.